guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to have a little bit of fun. I am actually going to be playing around in this new Huda Beauty Nude Eyeshadow palette. I'm really excited because I've been wanting this palette for a while since it came out, and I said, you know what, I had this long list of palettes, of course, that I wanted to purchase during the Sephora VIB sale, which I'm a VIB, not a Rouge, but I had this long list of stuff that I wanted to purchase during the VIB sale, and this was on that list. So I had to kind of, you know, make some tough decisions. You know, what do I want more? What do I want most? So anywho, this is one of the palettes that I went ahead and picked up because I was really intrigued by it. So as you can see, it comes in this, it's kind of hard to see it, but it comes in this nice white plastic packaging that has the new Nude on it by Huda Beauty. And this is what the actual palette itself looks like. So as you can see, it's absolutely gorgeous. It has her on the cover, and it's kind of like a pinky, peachy, mauve type look to it. And as you can see, the palette itself is matte, but the actual writing is a bit shiny. So it has that contrast there. So I love the packaging on this palette. It's absolutely gorgeous. On the back, of course, it just has some information about the palette as well as the social media information, and this palette does have a 12-month shelf life, as you can see there. Let's go ahead and open this puppy up and take a quick look. Now in this palette, it does come with a very nice full-size mirror, full size to the palette, as you can see, and it does say Huda Beauty right there on the mirror. Of course, it does have the protector with, once again, her face on it. I'm starting to wonder, is she vain or does she just really like the way that she looks? So anywho, this is what the palette itself looks like. So as you can see, this palette is gorgeous. Okay, now it's not your typical quote-unquote nude like the title states. I guess this is her idea of the new nudes, but as you can see, this palette comes with 18 shades. There are 10 matte shadows in here, 4 reflective shades. As you can see, those are the ones that has the little, looks like pops of white or silver glitter in there. There are 2 glitter formulas, and you can see those 2 there as well, which is the burgundy shade and the kind of lighter burgundy shade in there. And then the darker shimmer shadow is the pressed pearl shade, which is really gorgeous. And there's also actually a concealer. She put a concealer shade in this palette to make it a little bit easier to use. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about having the concealer in the actual palette with the shadows, because I feel like as I use the shadows, it might kind of kick up and get into the concealer base. Might not, but I'm still kind of on the fence with that. Now, although this palette is basically one color scheme, kind of like a mauve, has hints of pinks and purples in it, but although it's just one color scheme, for some reason this palette just really spoke to me. If you guys know me, you know that I'm usually into the bright, just crazy colors and everything, but this palette, I don't know if it was the shimmers or the glitters or the crystals, just really spoke to me. So I'm really excited to try this out today for you guys. As you can see, I don't know if you guys checked it out, but this palette has some very interesting names on here. We have Love Bite, Spanked, Kinky, Nude, or Bear. Some really seductive names on this palette. So if that's offensive to you, you might not want to pick up this palette. But let's go ahead and just jump into some swatches. I'm really excited to see how this palette swatches on me, but I'm not sure what kind of an eye look I want to do, and so maybe the swatches will kind of help me decide. So let's just jump right in. So upon first touching this palette, the matte seem very soft and buttery, so that's very nice. So starting off with the first 3 shades, we have Bear, Crave, and Play. So this is Bear, this is Crave, and this is Play. So those are the first 3 shades. Fantasy, Love Bite, Spanked, Lace, Daydream, and Tickle. Excite, Infatuated, and Kinky. Concealed, Secret, Tease, Raw, Charmed, and Teddy. So this is what the whole palette looks like, you guys. Very pretty, absolutely gorgeous. It swatches extremely nicely, and it looks like the crystal and glitter shades are very, very pretty. Okay, you guys, so I think I'm gonna just jump right in. And of course, I'm going to try out the concealer that's in this palette. So I'm going to go into Concealed and place a little bit of that on my lids. It has a sticky, tacky consistency to it. Okay, so now that I have just a very light layer of the concealer down, I think I want to start out with Lace, which is this really, really light lilac type shade here. Now there is a bit of kick up in this pan. And I'm just going in very lightly with this, just so that it'll be a nice transition for this eye look. I'm thinking about doing a halo type eye today, so we'll see what happens, y'all. Next, I'm going to go in, I think I want to hit some of these deep shades. So I want to go in with Love Bite. So I'm going into this really deep shade, the darkest shade in the palette, Love Bite. So I think I kind of want to stamp that down just to get that pigment on there as deep as possible. Now to blend out the upper portion of my lid, I want to go into Spanked, which is this lighter shade here. It's still deep, but it's a little bit lighter, a little bit more on the pinky side. And I'm just going to use that on the upper portion of my lid. Oh, these colors blend super nicely together. Now I'm just going to take a smaller brush and I'm going into that darker shade and just deepen in my inner crease a bit, or inner corner a bit, because I do want that to be a little bit darker than it is right now. Now I'm going to go back into the concealer shade and just try to carve out a bit of a halo. You guys, I tried. Okay, so now I do want to go into some of these shimmer, glitter, crystal, whatever shades. I think I'm going to start out with Kinky, which is the pressed pearl shade. So I'm going to use that, I think, on the outer portion of my halo. I didn't wet my brush for that. I just wanted to see how it would apply without wetting my brush. And it's actually a really pretty color. Okay, so I think I want to go into this really pretty shade here, which is Fantasy. And I want to place that on the center of my lid. And I am going to spray my brush with a little bit of my Fix Plus spray. Very pretty. Now, although this color is very nice, it's not giving me that pop that I'm looking for. So I want to go into one of the lighter crystal shades. So I think I'm going to go ahead and dive into Crave and see if I can get a little bit more pop in the center of my lid. Okay, that's really pretty. I think that actually gave me a little bit more of the pop that I'm looking for. Okay, why not? Let's just go ahead and go into Daydream. Since we're going to into all of these other crystal shades, let's go into Daydream and see what happens. I don't know if that really made a difference or not. I think I do see a difference. Yeah, I do. I see a nice little bright pop on top of there. Okay, so now let's go in and smoke out this lower lash line a little bit. So I think I want to go in with Tease. I want to try out this lighter shade here, this pinky shade Tease. Now let's go back into Love Bite. Now I'm going to go in with some of my Pretty Vulgar gel eyeliner, a little Urban Decay Glide On eye pencil. Now I'm going back into the palette and I'm going to take Daydream and place that in my inner corner. Almost forgot mascara, you guys, which is extremely important. So I'm going in with my Superhero from It Cosmetics mascara. So this is the final look, you guys, that I came up with this Huda Beauty, the New Nudes palette. Hopefully you like this look. Now that I remember to put some mascara on at the very end. Yeah, pretty important. But anywho, this is the look that I was able to create today. And just my initial thoughts on this palette, I like it. For me, personally, in my own collection, being a makeup lover, addict, beauty enthusiast, YouTuber, I don't regret purchasing this palette. I'm really glad I did. And I'm glad that I went ahead and tested it out for you guys, just in case you're thinking about purchasing it. I like it. The palette itself is gorgeous. Of course, the design is gorgeous. I wouldn't expect anything else for $65. There's a nice mirror in here, of course, and these shades are just absolutely beautiful to me. Just absolutely gorgeous. I love them. Now, I don't regret purchasing it because the mattes blended out very easily. They blended in nicely together. I think these colors complement each other very well. I do love the way that the crystals came off on my eyelids. I think they applied very nicely, easily, and I also like the fact that there is a concealer in the palette. I wasn't too sure how I would feel about that, but I actually really like it. It's nice, convenient, and I think it works very well with the placement of the eyeshadows. I didn't use a lot of it on my lid, but I really like the fact that I was able to just easily cut, you know, create my halo eye, or I would easily be able to do a cut crease with it. It's very convenient to have it right here in the palette. Now, how long it's gonna last or if it's gonna dry out easily, who knows. These glitter shades here, I didn't really mess with because glitter can be very messy and I wasn't in the mood for that today. But this Pressed Pearl shade here is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. So just the overall scheme and color story of this palette to me is beautiful. I don't feel like it's the new nudes because for me, it's pink and mauve. It is a pink and mauve palette. It's not nude for me. So, you know, this is probably their idea of creating the new nudes. But yeah, no, if I want a pink mauve look, I'm gonna grab this palette. So those are just my initial thoughts. I love it. I think it's gorgeous and beautiful. Do I think it's worth paying $65 for such a specific color scheme? No, I absolutely do not. If there was more variety in this palette, then okay, yeah. But just for one color scheme, no, it's not worth $65. It has nothing to do with the quality, because the quality is amazing. And the glitters are very, very beautiful, but you can pick up glitters like this from just about any beauty supply or makeup shop for a couple of bucks. These colors are out there. This is not anything remarkable or new. And for the shadows in this palette, you definitely can find these colors in much more affordable palettes. So with that being said, if you're just, you know, someone who's out there looking for a mauve palette, do I think it's worth it? No. If you're a makeup lover, an enthusiast, and someone who has to have every palette that comes out like me, then yeah, go ahead and pick it up, because it's gorgeous and I love it. But with that being said, I do plan on comparing and testing this palette out to some other mauve, pinky, rosy themed palettes, just to give you some more affordable options in case you do really, really love this palette, but you just can't afford or don't want to pay the $65 price tag. So look for that in the very near future. I am going to do a comparison of this palette with some more affordable palettes, just to give you some options, okay? Because I know when I saw this palette, I fell in love with it. I was like, oh, it's so pretty. And this is not the typical palette that I would fall in love with. If you guys know me, you know that I'm crazy about colors, crazy about bright multicolored rainbow type palettes. So this is very different for me, but I don't have, this is my first large Huda Beauty palette that I own. I own one of the small ones, the Mauve Obsessions. So this will be my first large Huda Beauty palette that I own. So with that being said, I've done enough talking. I like the palette. I love it. I think it's gorgeous and beautiful. Do I think you should spend $65 on it just for a mauve palette with glitters in it? No, definitely not. So anywho, that is all I have to say. Hopefully you guys like this pinky mauve look that I created for you guys today. And I will see you on my next video. Toodles!